Welcome to the DooDoo Diva Smells Like Money podcast. I'm your host, Suzan Chin Taylor, CEO and founder of Creative Raven, the firm that helps wastewater industry contractors and manufacturers unlock the power of digital marketing, AI, and PR to boost sales and opportunities. Whether it's through our online marketing and lead generation programs or providing a fully outsourced marketing department, we are passionate about helping businesses in the wastewater and civil infrastructure sectors not just survive, but thrive in today's digital world. Each episode, I'll be bringing you expert tips and strategies to help you grow and succeed. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DooDoo Diva Smells Like Money podcast. Today, we are visiting with the founders of Lightring Incorporated, Shane Jacobson and Jacob Swanson. And we're going to be talking today about a really, really cool, cutting edge, groundbreaking device that I think that every maintenance person that is listening to this show that's involved in sewer, water, utility, this is an absolutely must-have device. And I think after you hear the story, you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, how did we ever live without this thing? And so don't want to do a spoiler alert, but welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Suzanne. Great to be here.
Yep. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
So, Shane, I'm going to let you start off on this with the history of how this all came about, and maybe tell our audience a little bit about your background and what drove the invention of this device.
Yeah, so in 2007, my father and I started CIT Sewer Solutions. We're a sewer maintenance contractor based out of Central Iowa. And it was in 2015, I was on a job site with a coworker, and we had some issues seeing what we were doing in a manhole. And the coworker, he was, new into the industry, and he asked, is there like a rope light and a circle that we can hang down in there to light up the manhole? Are there any other options out there besides a flashlight? And so, that's kind of where the idea initially was sparked. And I left there, I did some research, hopped online, and I couldn't find anything on the market that could solve that problem with hands-free lighting other than, the boom lights on a truck. And so I got with my cousin, who is a fabricator and kind of a smaller manufacturer, and we jotted down some ideas and some drawings, and the first prototype was built. I brought that over to the CIT, and we ran it through the ropes with the guys in the field, and made some adjustments to the designs, and we came up with the second prototype. Same thing, we beat it up in the field and tested it, and made a few other changes, and that turned into the first production model of the light ring, which we sold, a decent amount of. But from there, it kind of turned into manufacturing issues and sustainability on that side of things for a few years.
And so now, where it's sitting, you're selling into various cities, contractors, but more municipalities. Municipalities have really gravitated towards this. And one of the things, when I saw some of the demo videos, and I invite the audience, go to their website and just check out some of these videos that they've got of this product in action. What got me was it solved, and it probably wasn't intentional, but you as an operator realized, wow, this thing actually solved more issues than just lighting. And one of those things was, especially for CCTV operators or jetting operators, protected the tools, served as a downhole roller assembly. And I remember somebody saying, wow, nothing's worse than when you lose connection to that tool and it gets lost down there and you have to try to find a way to fish it out.
Oh yeah, that's not fun. And that kind of leads to the initial design of the product. Initially, it was just we wanted to have hands-free lighting at the manhole. And then it morphed into the conical shape which was designed to you know, be a kind of an alert to where if you're stepping near the manhole, you're going to feel that raised edge with your
Hmm.
foot. And also, to keep nozzles and, tools from just rolling into the manhole. Kind of as you said there, it's not fun trying to fish things out of the manhole. And 9 times out of 10, it's somebody kicks a tool or a nozzle and it just dumps right in the manhole.
And so then to go retrieve that, you're looking at confined space entry. Just
Yep.
you say it's just the headaches of it. But something else that came about was when that lid is down, that clear, I guess, plexiglass or whatever it is, lid is down. When you're jetting, it keeps the back spray or the aerosol from coming up and hitting you. And I would think, as an operator that's doing jetting, that would probably be even more of a cool benefit than the lighting, because you're not getting covered in that, the byproduct of what's in a suit.
Yeah.
Imagine, well,
Getting,
you've done it, going home every day to your family smelling
oh
not so
yeah,
pleasant.
getting baptized in sewer water is the way I
Oh.
like to say it. But the kind of the light bulb moment and what really sparked getting us to where we are today is when I met Jacob, and I think 2018, 2019, and we just started talking, and I told him about the light ring and the manufacturing issues I was running into, and just kind of the concept in general. And Jacob ended up coming on as a partner in late 2019. And we just spent so many hours on the phone leading up to that, just talking about, ideas on different products, different ways we can innovate in our industry and make things easier and safer. Um, Jacob, you want to kind of touch on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you did a good job of kind of breaking in how that relationship began. And it was, for me, the first time that I saw the light ring, I was excited about it because lighting is one of the most challenging things when you're working in manholes or any kind of really underground infrastructure. And usually it's going to be a flashlight or it's a headlamp, which both of those have their own challenges. You're taking away your hands, or depending on the direction that you're looking, you might not be able to see out of your peripherals. So I loved what the light ring began as, but I saw it as a device that was going to be able to have a lot more functionality for the crews and what they were doing. And that's where I started talking to Shane and came up with a couple different ideas on how we could make it a little more adaptable and versatile for everyone that's using it. And now here we are.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing from the marketplace is that the people that have this, that have tried it, love it. And I guess one of the objections was, oh, this is just one more thing I have to do at the manhole for the setup. And that's been your objection and your pushback. But the reason I'm asking this is that once they get past that, what has been your feedback on that? After that initial thought, this is just going to create more work. And then they realize, well, actually, it didn't. And those few extra moments to set this up are creating other benefits for me, which way, way outweigh the extra minute that it takes me to put this on the manhole. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so definitely have a lot of great feedback from users out in the field. Um, I would agree 100% that the biggest pushback, especially from municipalities, is just adding that as extra step. Is it just gonna get thrown in the corner of the truck and not be used? But once people actually use it and utilize the different functions of it, between the lighting right at the hole, the rope cleat right there on the ring.
Mhm.
Those are two big things that help a maintenance crew because A, yeah, the lighting, but B, where are you going to tie that tiger tail rope off to? A lot of times we'd tie it off on the bumper of the truck, or we'd step on the rope and it would break loose, or we'd move our foot and the tiger tail would shift and then cause damage to the hose or the cable. Um, and then obviously, when we brought the safety cover into the mix, the aerosol reduction during jetting is huge. I would say 95+% of that aerosol is reduced during the jetting process. You can see some of those videos online. And then the wintertime televising, to everybody up in the north when it's cold out, it really tough to get a good video. And the lens fogs up and that cold air gets down into the warm manhole.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so when you're talking about the wintertime, it helps with that fogging problem because the lid is keeping
Hmm.
the natural heat in.
Yep,
Wow.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
operators, I'm sure love that. But not to mention, just all these things, but just the safety to the surrounding community that I would think would make it that much more attractive because we always worry about manhole accidents.
Hmm.
Some curious onlooker or looky Lucas, oh, what are they doing there? And lose their footing and boom, down the manhole.
Yep. Yeah, that was definitely a moment for me. I've had, many times as a former TV operator, jet truck operator, where, you're sitting in the back of the TV truck, you can't see the manhole very well. You've got your cone set up, you've got your site secured. School gets out, whatever, and you
Yeah.
hear some kids jibber jabbering in the background, and you get up and there's two or three kids standing right over your open manhole, um, being curious kids.
Right. And they're all fascinated by robots. So like
Oh yeah,
you do it.
yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just, I think that's what so excited me when I first saw this. And we met on LinkedIn and I saw what you were doing. It says, this thing is so cool because it checks so many different boxes. And
Mhm,
it's not just for, water and wastewater. Think about utility, any
mhm,
utility worker, electrical that has to enter a space like this and needs to see what they're doing. And it was interesting.
mhm.
One of your customers, Steve from the city of Staples, he was mentioning when we were talking about pushback about the best safety tools are the ones that actually get used.
Mhm.
And
No doubt.
that's the whole thing. And so when you look at the product from a price point standpoint, I really think it's a great value for the money, but something that is kind of interesting that viewers may not know about. But there are safety grants in probably nearly all 50 states. And so this product falls into that category of a safety device or PPE, so that if you don't have it in your budget and you want it, it's an easy qualification for a safety grant to acquire it. And
Hmm.
I just that was just a great little feature that you talked about on your website that yeah, if you really want this, there are ways that you can get this without breaking the bank. And so Jacob, because you were the one that really was coming up with other ideas or you were bantering back and forth beyond the light ring, you began to work on a whole range of related products that if someone is not in the market for what the light ring has, which is I call that the full Monty, but wants some other things, there are other products within the range that really can help productivity and safety. So why don't you take us through some of those?
Yeah, so the torch and the torch light are two that have been added on, and those are really they kind of were built really from Shane's involvement with CIT and his crews, recognizing that there were other aspects where the equipment that they had may not be serving them as well as it could be.
Hmm.
So just kind of seeing where are the challenges and where can we adapt and make that equipment even better. And I love that you brought up the safety aspects earlier because really every single adaptation that we've provided to all of the equipment is safety minded, from the color to the non-slip resistant coating, the lighting, the raised edges, the safety cover. As Shane mentioned, I mean, it's in every single one of the pieces of equipment, safety is at the core of it.
That is excellent. Yeah. And for those, obviously this is a podcast and people may not be watching the video, but the equipment is this bright safety orange. It's an orange that's so bright you could probably see it from the moon. So that was great, great design feature that you put into it. So what's next for, Light Ring? Where are you going to take the venture next with this?
Well, we've got some exciting things on the horizon Jacob and I are working on. We're in that innovative, continuous improvement mindset, and we love bouncing ideas back and forth. And Jacob, where do you think we're going next?
I think some of the ideas that we can't really talk about on the podcast right now because they're not protected yet.
Yeah,
But there
no
are
doubt.
definitely going to be some really unique iterations that are coming in the future to the equipment, without question.
Excellent. So you've got this light ring, you've got these new products, you got some other things I know in the can that we're not ready to disclose just yet, but if they're going to be anything like what you've already done, it's going to be exciting stuff on the horizon. I would like to get some feedback from either one of you from what you're hearing from your customers that have actually purchased the light ring, are starting to use it, and what they're thinking about it, and also what they're asking you for. Hey, maybe on the next iteration, I'd like to see this, or this is what I love about it the most that you can share with the audience.
Yeah, that is actually a big part of where some of these ideas come from is just the feedback from the operators in the field, whether it's our employees at CIT or customers in general. The biggest points that I hear are the lighting, the hands-free lighting, trying to get the equipment in and out of the pipe without tying up one of your hands holding a flashlight, especially when you're trying to get into drop connections and it's elevated, off the bottom of the pipe. So just making that more efficient and easier on the equipment. You're not banging it around in the manhole. And then the safety cover, I've heard direct reports that near misses were eliminated just due to that safety cover being closed. About a year ago, my brother, who works at CIT here with me, he was stepping out of the back of a manhole and he actually fell into it, but he caught himself by the arms and didn't go all the way in, but he had some nasty bruises on his ribs. And so, that's happened to me in the past too, a couple times where I've almost fell in or, partially fell in. It's just happens. So just having that extra layer of safety.
So in addition to these safety things, municipalities, contractors, they're always concerned with, slips, like you were just saying, your brother having a near miss, but doing everything they can to mitigate and prevent falls, injuries, losses of any kind. And we're not sure yet, but when you think about devices like this, I would see that there could be a potential where this could actually help with insurance rates of showing, cities that you're putting all of these devices in place to prevent and mitigate accidents. We don't like to talk about it in our industry, but there's a tremendous amount of manhole related injuries every single year. And maybe unintentional, when you were saying kids or passersby, losing their balance and all of a sudden head over heels into the manhole. I had a very good friend that during a really bad storm event in California, they went out because they were on emergency response for an SSO, and of course could not see where the parameters or the borders of the manhole were. So even though they had coned it off, he couldn't
Hmm.
tell. And he was a big guy, 6'7", like a Toby Keith kind of guy, linebacker. He stepped into where that open manhole was and went in 3/4 of the way, leaving one leg on the surface,
Oh,
one leg. Oh yeah, dislocated hip, shattered hip. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
ouch.
And he did recover, thank God. It was a painful recovery. He did come back to work, but it pretty much ended his career in the field. It ended his career, and he wound up having to, he retired. He was getting ready to
Mhm.
retire anyway, but it was a lot sooner. And that was certainly not the way that he wanted to end his career. And I would think that something as bright in color as yours, with the safety lid, even during an SSO, could have prevented something like that. And you're shaking your head, yes,
No
emphatically.
doubt. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So, Jacob, what are your thoughts on that? Because you run in other circles within the industry, and one being in particular that you've been involved in the rehab side, Manhole, and you have a lot of expertise in that. Do you see this as a product that could come in handy, not just for your traditional like jetting and CCTV, but also for those that are doing manhole rehabilitation?
Absolutely. And that's, I mean, it's mostly the lighting aspect, but there's also one of the features of the light ring is that there's actually a cutout portion that's about 4 inches. And that's where the downrigger and the roller actually are located. And we designed that specifically to be quickly detachable so that if somebody is in the manhole and they're tied off, if there was an emergency that was to happen, they can quickly get the whole light ring unit out of the way so that they make sure that they're not constricting any recovery efforts that might need to be done. So again, just kind of touching on everything within the light ring is purpose built and really focused on safety.
Right. And obviously OSHA compliant for confined space, that it works within all the apparatus that you need to have on hand and set up for confined space entry.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. No, and the reason I was asking, thinking about if you're someone that's applying, let's say, a spray material in the hole, imagine if you're at the very, very bottom on the bench, having that light above you to help you see an application, to make sure that you're getting your application applied at the thickness specified, would be so critical. Because you're working in a really tight space, you're using your trowel or you're using your spray gun. It just gives you one more hand free. And I love when you were saying about the cutouts, because I was just thinking when those sprayers are down there, those applicators, they need that clean air supply coming up, and that cutout can accommodate that. So that's just one more use for the light ring.
Yep.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, guys, thank you for coming on and just sharing what's going on and this exciting new innovation for the field. And for those who are sparked interest in this, how can they learn more and how can they actually get the light ring products?
Yeah, so we've got a website, www.lightringinc.com. You can order directly from our website. We do also have a distribution network we're in the process of building. So reach out to us, and if we've got a local rep distributor in your area, we can connect you guys.
And also for those who might be reps, they're looking to build their network as well. And so there might be business opportunities out there as well, right, Shane?
Definitely. Yep. That's actually been a handy tool for us. When we get an inquiry in an area where there's no reps, we can develop that relationship with the local rep and go from there.
Excellent. Well, Shane, first off, the people in this industry, the guys that do the work that you do, you're my unsung heroes, so my hats off, heart out to you. And really thank you for being brave enough to say, okay, there's a need. I can't find what I need. And I would say just having the courage to go out there and say, what can I lose? Building it yourself, taking that chance and putting the work into creating a good product, not just for yourself, but for your peers in the industry. So thank you for doing that, because I think, launching anything new into the market, that takes a lot of tenacity and a lot of guts to take that risk to venture out beyond. But I think that's what really makes this so unique, is that it was developed by a contractor for contractors and other field people, so that your own company really ran it through its paces. And you're doing it's not like in a lab, interior engineering a lab, here's a great product, go use it. But that real operators that do the work of the customers that would buy this, it's been tested on them and given their stamp of approval. And I think products like that are the ones that really stand out in the market, at least for me, is that I am you. I know your pain. And you designed it around the pain that you were feeling. And so, again, thank you for bringing such an amazing tool to the marketplace. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. I hope you will reach out to Shane and explore what he has to offer on his website. It's cool stuff. Thank you for spending time. And until next time, keep it flowing. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you're ready to take your marketing to the next level and start increasing sales and opportunities for your business, reach out to us at Creative Raven. We're here to help you thrive in the digital landscape. Visit creativeraven.com or click the link in the show notes below to schedule a call and learn how we can support your growth. If you enjoyed the insights on today's episode, be sure to hit subscribe so you'll never miss an update. Until next time, keep growing and keep it flowing.